Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be my ranking of the top 10 Tigon movies I've seen recently. Now, I'm saying 10, I have got 11 here. I want to talk about number 11 as an honourable mention, or should I say dishonourable mention. So at number 11 is Virgin Witch. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because, unfortunately for me, I've got a double dip on this because this is coming out by 88. 88 are releasing the stuff that was previously released by Screenbound. So do know that you're going to get some good stuff coming out by that. But unfortunately, I put this on now. I didn't think this was going to be much good, but I thought there might be something here I might enjoy about it. The picture quality is quite good. I haven't got many complaints with the picture quality or the packaging. What I will say is though, this is currently going online for about 40 quid. Do not pay £40 for this. What you want to do is, because I would imagine everything in here, apart from the book and that, is going to be available on the 88 and probably some more as well. Maybe there's going to be a bit of a better transfer, which I don't think so. This transfer is pretty good. So yeah, I'll save yourself some money, and if you want to get it, do go and get the 88 one. Now, the reason why I'm picking it up is because I'm collecting all of the Tiger movies, and in that the slipcases, I want them all on my shelves. I want them to look good. If I'd known about this, I wouldn't have picked this up. I would have just got the one on 88. You would never know that was coming around the corner though, but I'm glad that they've got some stuff from them so they can put 88 can put out some of this screenbound stuff, which might have not seen the light of day if it's getting discontinued. But wow, I haven't even finished this movie. It was that bad. I got to about half an hour and I thought actually it was getting all right towards the last half hour. So I imagine when I watch it fully, I will think it's okay, but it's a huge letdown to what I thought it could be. This is the clues in the title. It's a witch story about this coven. They get these two sisters and they want to get them into this to make them have a sacrifice. But there's actually an interesting plot twist to this. There's a woman in here, which is not in the cover. She is she is no, she's not in there. She's obsessed about this girl, and that's one of the reasons why she wants her to go in there. She's posing as this kind of beauty, like a glamour model manager. Try saying that, the 20 pints. And it's two sisters. One of them's from Hello Hello, could you believe it? And I think both the sisters have disowned this movie. They said it's utter trash, and it is utter trash. But yeah, I think they didn't want it. They didn't want it to be seen for the fact of the way that they are posing in this movie. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, so just a quick honourable or dishonourable mention to Virgin, which it is coming out, and I will be getting it, unfortunately. But what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to make sure I get this one on 88 in the biggest sale possible. Five out price of one or something like that. So yeah, at number 11, not recommended at all. Don't pay £40 for this at all. I wouldn't even bother buying this set because you're going to get a decent one if you want to keep them, if you want to collect them all, like I do. Collect them all on the yellow box versions by 88 and just dismiss this one. And it is really poor. So at number 11, that's Virgin Witch. So number 10 is The Body Sealers. Now, what I'm going to say about this movie and the other ones, I've enjoyed them all, not Virgin Witch, but I've enjoyed them all immensely. They are fantastic. The picture quality, which I'll show you on the screenshots, they look absolutely amazing on the majority of these ones. They've done an absolutely brilliant presentation of them. This one is more like a sci-fi movie. It does say that it's a sci-fi horror. There is no horror elements in this at all. When I was looking on the Internet Movie Database, it did say that this was a PG. Now, when I looked into the notes about it, it did say that there's two scenes cut out of it, nudity that was cut out because this movie bombed when it was at the cinema in 1969, and it didn't connect with anybody. It's got a great cast in here. Everybody in this cast, even the extras, I was thinking, I know him from somewhere, I know him from somewhere. They've all been going on to bigger and better things. But this one here, because I was thinking, well, this isn't PG. So when I put it on, the two scenes of nudity are back in this movie. So yeah, it is fully uncut for what it is. It's not gory or anything like that. But what it is it's a good laugh. I had a really good time with this movie. Now, one of the hardest things to get through this movie is because this guy here, he does the voiceovers for Reeves and Mortimer when they do their TV shows and also Shooting Stars. So when they were talking about the alien planets, where they were from and the names of the person, I was tempted to think that he was going to say he was called Iranu from Uvavu, because every time you hear his voice, you just think of Reeves and Mortimer. But after a bit, you get past that. So the basic preposterous story of this is that the aliens, think that people jumping out of planes, like soldiers, they think that they would be the best people to have on their planet. They would have the best, stuff going on in their anatomy. So what they did was, when they're jumping out of planes, they would steal them at that point. They would just disappear. So when the parachutes were coming down, there's no one on them. So it's quite funny in a way, and it was just really daft. But I think it was well acted, and there's some amazing actors in here. So this levitated this from being absolute sci-fi hokum to quite an enjoyable movie. So at number 10, that's The Body Stealers, Irano. At number 9 is 1969's The Haunted House of Horror. I remember getting this for about £11 from HMV back in the day. Now, this is so 60s/70s. It's unbelievable. All the people in here have got that complete 60s. And actually, Dracula 1972. This movie is like Dracula 1972 for the people in it and the way they talk, and they're always at a party. But what it is there's this girl who's getting stalked by an older man who she's having a relationship with. And they have a party. And this fella follows them to this party. Now, when they go to this party, they think the house is haunted, or is it? But things start happening, people start dying. Yeah, it's such a good murder mystery, and the people in it are absolutely brilliant. And you've another one where you've known all these people before. You think, oh, he's from Man About the House, he's from Robin's Nest. There's just that type of setup. But really good. The music in here is so 70s and so ridiculous. It's brilliant, and I like that about this movie. And this is a numbered limited edition as well. But yeah, it's good when you're looking through these shelves and you think, oh, I've got a couple more Tiger movies that I never thought I had. And it also co-stars Frankie Avalon, beauty school dropout, Grease. Can you believe it? So, fun movie. At number 9, that's The Haunted House of Horror. At number 8 is 1971's Honey Calder. Talked about this on this previous video. It's just saying that this was such a good movie, and it was. It's like a spaghetti western. It's got a spaghetti western feel to me. It's grubby, it's grimy. It's got some, it obviously takes place where this person, and she's living in a farm with somebody else, and this gang comes into town, this horrible gang here, all brothers, and they're real scumbags. And obviously they kill her husband, and yeah, with her, and then they leave her for dead. They set the place on fire. Now she swears revenge on them, and she goes after them. And then she meets up with this bounty killer, and he wants nothing to do with her. And eventually he realized that she's really has to get back at this gang. So he trains her up and takes her to Christopher Lee to buy some guns to go after these lot. So it's great. Now, I did say on a previous video that I have seen this movie because there's too many things happening here, too many people that I know in this movie, and I've definitely seen this before. And I think I recall having a good time with it, but I had such a blast with this movie. Yes, it is a western. It's not any of these. These are all horror to a certain extent, but this one is kind of the odd one out. But it's such a good movie, and I really enjoyed it. And it's not brutal, but I'll tell you what there is. There's loads of blood in it. Like squibs. Everybody who gets shot, it's just blood blasting everywhere. It's really actually over the top. And I'd imagine for the time, it would have been one of the most violent ones out there, believe it or not. So yeah, highly rated, and Raquel Welch is fantastic in this movie, and the picture quality is stunning as well. So at number 8, that's Honey Calder. At number 7 is 1967's The Sorcerers. This was fantastic. And now in my horror book that I've got, that I was looking at the other day, or another horror book, I do know that I've been wanting to see this movie for a long time, because without giving any spoilers, there's a picture in there that depicts a scene from here, and it says The Sorcerers at the bottom. I thought, I've got to see this movie, and that scene is in it, but didn't know anything else about it. When I watched it, I was really blown away by a couple of elements in here. Ian Ogilvy was fantastic in it. Boris Karloff he's great and everything, and also he's got a wife there. Now, what the premise of this movie is, that Boris Karloff invents this mind hypnotism thing, which can make people. He's going to use it for good. Now, he is being shunned by the medical, people for all his time. They're just laughing him off. But he's actually perfected this thing to control someone's mind. And he needs a young person's mind who are easily led. He needs a young person's mind to connect with. So he picks him out of a bar somewhere. Now he goes with him to this place. Now his wife there, they managed to get this person under their sort of spell, and they can control him by their minds by saying, do this, do that. But he's going to use it for good. But his wife has said, we've had no luck in all of our life. I want to have a touch of the high life. I want to, like have clothes that I never had. So they send him to get, like, steal the clothes. Now he doesn't remember doing any of these things. And he's quite I would say his character is not a likable character. I think he's more of a bit of a playboy, but they're using him to do these things. And when he's, coming back to normality and people are saying, oh, you did this last night, he said, I didn't do that. But it's the woman in this, because Boris Karloff is the good guy. He's trying to say, look, we want to do this for the better in the world. We want to make people, say, for instance, they would say, send him to a place like they would send him to America for a holiday, and they would experience that through themselves because all he does, they get the feeling of what he does. So when he steals that coat, she gets the feeling of stealing a coat, and she's like in a sense of euphoria, for want of a better word. But she takes it to the next level, then the next level. But it's so good. And the fact is, he was going to be the one who's going to do all the bad stuff. But he said, I don't want to be that type of person. So they changed it to her. And it's much better for it. So it's got some great shots of London in the 60s, which I love seeing. Also, it's quite violent as well. So, yeah, it's got a lot going for it. So I'm really glad they brought this out. I'm really glad I've seen it after all this time. So number 7, that's The Sorcerers. So number 6 is 1970s, The Beast in the Cellar. Now, when I put this on, I thought I recognized the title. And when I started watching it, I thought I have definitely seen this movie. And I knew there's something in it that really freaked us out. But the best part of this movie is by far Beryl Reid. Her character in this is sensational. And it reminds me of a movie that I would have saw of hers, but I can't remember what it was. Have a look through her movies online. I can't think of what it was. But I remember it was more like a comedy with her. And she was playing a character like this, of these two sisters who have this, well, they have a beast in the cellar, clues in the title. But there's more to it than that, obviously. And it's really good. Now this beast gets out and starts killing people, and they realise the thing, hang on a minute, I think that's the person we've got in the cellar. But if I tell you what the reason is, it's a big spoil. So just know that this movie is so. I think it's more just the reaction, the interplay between these two people is just brilliant. But Beryl Reid, for me, it made me think I've got to see more stuff by her because it just brought to mind this previous uh, film I'd seen of hers, which I can't remember what it is, but I would love to see it again just to remember a character in that, just being this kind of bit of a ditzy old woman, even though she's only about 50 in this, although she doesn't look it. It was just incredible. Now, when I was talking about the bit that I thought freaked us out, was there a bit in here that freaked us out? Now, when I was watching this, there's a couple of bits in here, and I thought, my God, they're so creepy that I thought if I was a kid watching this, I'd be petrified, which is probably what I was back in the day. So this is one of the reasons why this came straight back in my mind. I thought there's definitely something about this movie that it reminds me of, like being frightened to death, and that bit was in it. I mean, it's not that bad now, but it's still creepy. So yeah, so number 6, that's The Beast in the Cellar. And number 5 is 1972's Beware My Brethren. Now, this is one of those revelation films that I was talking about. This was so good. Now, strangely enough, this is also called The Fiend. And I don't know what it is about this movie, but it's so like of its time, but that in a good way, because it's got these songs in it. This woman, this older woman, she is he's got this isn't a spoiler. There's a bloke here, and he's a serial killer. Now his mother is involved in the church with this like preacher. Now she is she's playing the piano or the organ, shall I say, and they play these songs. You should hear these songs, and they're meant to be like hymns, but they're like 70s like pop music hymns, and they just got these people singing these songs in the parish, which is in their house, which is absolutely crazy. So for the two songs alone, this film is worth watching. But there's so much more to it than that. The people in here are so weird, and the whole premise of this bloke who's like one of these misfits who doesn't fit in with anybody, and he's trying to just get on with women, but he just thinks that because he's got this puritanical mother who thinks that he can't have women, can't be friends with women. He thinks, oh, I just have to kill them then. So, but it's really good. And this fella here, Patrick McGee, who's been in a lot of these early 1970s movies, he was in Clockwork Orange as well. He's such a weird looking bloke. I think he was in the Black Cat as well, the Lucio Fulci film. But yeah, this was such a good movie, and I'm really glad I picked it up when I did, because I looked at it and thought I'd probably like that. Didn't know it was a Tigon movie or anything like that. Put it on the shelf with a view to watch it sometime. But of course, with us knowing that this is Tigon, I put it in the mix with these ones. I'm so glad I watched it. I was prepared for this to be average, but it was above average. It was so, I don't know what it is. It's just the music. It's just so nuts. So this film's quite violent and gory, and I'm not talking about the two songs that we're singing. So at number 5, that's Beware My Brethren. So at number 4 is 1971's Blood on Satan's Claw. Now, a lot of people will say, what, it's not number 1, but I've got to say these other ones in front of it, I had such a good time with them. But I had a great time with practically all of these, apart from Virgin Witch. Hmm. But yeah, what can I say about this movie? It's a 4K as well. The picture quality is absolutely stunning. It's one of the best ones I've seen on an 88 Films one thus far. And now the reason why I remember watching this, and I remember watching this a few times when I was a kid, but I didn't watch this one too much because I think that it freaked me out that much. There's a couple of scenes in here which I didn't like at all. Mainly the ending, which, when you see the creature at the end, and it just really freaked me out. And also, and I don't know why it did freak us out, but it did. When you get, and these gang or these kids get into this with the Satan, or they're getting these devil worshippers. They get this devil's hair on their leg, and they get this skin which gets this like leg this hair coming off it, and these people get these hairy bits on their legs now, which doesn't seem to be anything but the fact they get them cut off, and they've got them in this like bottle and stuff like that, and they're showing people this like skin, the devil's skin, which is what this movie's also called. It really freaked me out when I was a kid, and I don't know why, but it just did. I think I saw it way too young. Now, Michelle Detrice is in this, and she's brilliant in this movie. Actually, she's one of the best people in this whole movie. But the whole thing is just brilliant. But yeah, it doesn't freak us out that much now, but I can see how much it freaked us out back in the day. This is probably why I didn't watch this one too much, because of the fact that it used to just petrify us when I was a kid. And sometimes you would stay away from these when they came back on the TV. You think, well, I think I'll give that a swerve. So yeah, at number 4, that's 1971's Blood on Satan's Claw. At number 3 is 1973's The Creeping Flesh. This is on a triple bill from my good friend John Hall. And that's another Tiger movie there, I think, or Amicus. Maybe we'll get around to watch that. But I wanted to watch this one to make up the 10. Now, this stars Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, so it's got everything going for it. And the monster in here is absolutely petrifying, I find. So it's got a great story in here where Peter Cushing plays this scientist who finds this big, huge skeleton, and he reanimates one of the fingers. He puts it into a jar, he gets it wet, or he cleans it, and it gets skin on it. So he knows that when this skeleton gets wet, it will come back to life. Now, I was talking to my good friend John Hall the other day in the comments, and he had said that Oddjob from the Carry On Screaming does really come across like as if this this movie takes from that the fact that they reanimates a whole body from a finger. And you can see where he was right in thinking that. I do would love to know if that was really a thing that they thought, hey, we'll just pinch that. But this film is just, it's so well acted, and it's really violent as well, really gory. It's got some good plot twists, and it's got a good plot twist about his daughter, who's quite pure and innocent until she gets injection with the stuff that they've injected. They've injected some blood from this monster into her for a reason I'm not going to go into it. Bit spoilery. But anyway, it changes her personality. So you've got that going on, as well as the fact that Christopher Lee is the brother of Peter Cushing, who works in a local insane asylum. And Peter Cushing is trying to get this thing on the go, but nobody believes him that this thing is like the missing link. And that's just so good, and the picture quality is absolutely stunning. Highly, highly recommended if you get your hands on it. And I would love to think that 88 would put this out. This would be a really good act. It's one of the best ones in this whole thing to have Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing. It's got everything you can think about from that early 70s, watching these on the horror channels. and you get the double bills. This would have been on all the time. And I remember that watching this a load of times, even though I was confused when I was watching it, think, oh yeah, this is where all this is from. So number three, that's 1973's The Creeping Flesh. And number two is 1973's A Candle for the Devil. Now, this was the biggest revelation on here. I know I've watched Beware My Brethren, thought that was like kind of wow. But this one here, when I put it on, I didn't know what I was expecting this one would be like. But if you're the vibe I got from it is Cannibal Man. If you're familiar with Cannibal Man, I think that's an absolutely great band, Video Nasty, and it's just a setting of Cannibal Man is exactly the same as this. Now I thought, is this set in the same place as Cannibal Man? Because it's from the same, like 1972 as Cannibal Man, this is 1973. I could imagine them filming this in the same area because it just got that look about it. So it's got that going for it. So the story in this one is that these two sisters, they have a guest house and they get people staying there. Now, when they get people who are promiscuous and they get places with boys, she can't, that one there, she can't stand it. So what she decides is they have to be killed. So she'll kill them. So the other sister is trying to say, well, how are we going to get rid of the body? So they've got this big oven. So they chop them up and put this in this oven. But what happens is, like, somebody comes and says, oh, I was looking for my friend. My friend was here the other day. Oh, she's gone. Well, she never told me she was going. No, but she's definitely gone. And then she gets to know that this person didn't go on the bus or anything like that, didn't get the taxi out there with this small village. So how did she get out? So she's got suspicions about what's going on here. But every time they get nearly found out, they've got to kill somebody else, a bit like Cannibal Man. And it just had so many vibes of that. And I just thought this was absolutely amazing. And as well as the Cannibal Man tie-in sort of thing, I just thought the whole premise and the acting and the way that these sisters went on it, especially, is some of the best things I've seen. And like, I've never seen this on the TV, I would imagine, never seen this one before. But this is so unique, I find, because I find Cannibal Man unique as well. As you know, I think it's one of the best films ever. And this one, with having that vibe, I thought I was immediately drawn into it by that, obviously. But this one, I can't stress how good a movie this is. Now, if you see this, this probably will turn up cheap. I do stress to get one, to get it, because don't write it off. It's not got, I'm saying the cover's all right. It's not got one of the best covers. It's one you can kind of go past on the shelf. But if you can get it, especially with a slip, I would urge anybody to pick it up because I think you have a really good time with it. There's a bit in this movie, a bit like Cannibal Man. There's some animal cruelty in it, not like the animal cruelty in Animal Man, like slaughterhouse stuff. This is to have a basket because they do like cut things up to cook for the guests, and they've got three animal heads in a basket, and it's grotesque actually. If I'm honest, they haven't. You don't see anything happen. You just see them sort of plonked in there with a view to being cooked up for whatever. And I thought that was grotesque. So if you're not a fan of that type of thing, you might want to stay away from it if you don't like that type of thing. But if you can get past that, this is such a good movie, and I was blown away by it. The picture quality is quite soft, but for me, it didn't matter because I was enjoying it that much. And I would love to see some more movies by this director or writer if they've got anything like this. So at number two, with a bullet, is A Candle for the Devil. So at number one is 1968's Witchfinder General. If you'd asked me before I did this list, what do I think would be number one? I wouldn't have put this at number one. In my mind, I would have had this lower down in the list. I would have definitely had Blood on Satan's Claw above this. But it was up. I mean, the 4K is one of the best 4Ks I've seen. A bit like Blood and Satan's Claw. It's just sensational. They've done an amazing job on here. When I watched this, it was like watching this film for the first time. The acting in here is unbelievable. The just everything about the director sadly passed away at a very young age and only made this one, The Sorcerers, and another one, which hopefully, although it's on Raro, can't remember the title of it now, something like She Devil. He's only made the three films, sadly, and this was his last film. But he's made one of the best films ever in my eyes. And seeing this in this presentation and watching it with fresh eyes, I just thought this is such a good movie. If you're a fan like me of these late night horror double bills when you were a kid, you will love this movie and you would love all of their movies. I can't recommend them highly enough, apart from Virgin Witch, unfortunately. But don't get that one. Get the version that's going to come out like this. I think it's out next month either. This one here, I thought it might not have connected with us as it does now. But do go back to these and watch them because you'll get a fresh perspective on them. Like I've got more out of these ones than I did when I watched them. in a different way because you're a different person. I'm not a 6-year-old now screaming my head off. I'm an adult. Some more 4Ks would be nice, but I don't want to do any double dips. If they come out on Blu-ray, keep them on Blu-ray. Although some of them look that good, they could be 4Ks. Yeah, but this and Christopher Reeve, what?
Where's me ladders?
And Vincent Price is obviously amazing as Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder General. Yeah, this movie is quite gory. Now it's got two cuts on it. It's got a US one, which I think is more, it's more extreme, a few more extra bits of gore in it. Now I was going to watch that before I did this list to see if this one, the American one, was better than this one. It is different. It starts off slightly different, but I think with the running time is only going to be seconds worth of difference. So I'm going to watch it, but just didn't watch it this close to watching this for the first time. This 4K, but I will be watching it again really soon. So that's my top 10 Tigon releases. They are highly recommended, apart from Virgin Witch. So thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you in the next video. Au revoir.